Excellent.
Totally body. Welcome.
Well, that's one way to greet it.
Right. All right, everyone.
Yeah.
What's up, family? Welcome to Church, Mind, and Matter. I'm Tae.
I'm Aaron.
I bring the church,
I bring the mind.
and you matter.
You matter.
So,
You all matter.
right.
Everybody matters tonight.
This being, the week of Valentine's, the week of love. A lot of ladies gonna get some presents.
Yeah.
Hopefully, some of my fellas get some presents. It's gonna be a lot of just spreading love with relationships. It's gonna be maybe some broken hearts. You never know. Speaking of atmosphere, but
Happy thoughts, people.
right.
Happy thoughts.
So we figured we just do something a little different. No real special guest.
Well, we do have special.
My wife's
guests.
special.
Absolutely. We brought the lady of Amplify Network out.
Yes.
Unfortunately, my girlfriend couldn't attend. There was a death in the family.
Send
She would,
blessings.
send blessings
Yes.
and prayers her way. But certainly, absolutely, it's going to be an exciting night of discovery, of getting down to the nitty gritty about how these lovebirds found each other and what they can teach all of us people. Yeah, what else? You know, the only kind they don't call them love whales, they don't call them love dogs, they call them lovebirds. All right. So exactly. So we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. I'd like to hear tales about how they met each other, and I'm gonna take a little bit more of a host role tonight because unfortunately my significant other couldn't make it, so I thought it would only be fair. So,
Yes.
shall we kick this off in style?
Let's go. Let's go. The
Okay.
ladies. Okay, so this is a first.
Yes.
So usually it's a lot of men around, and so the ladies are here. So we gotta represent strong, right?
Oh,
we got
absolutely.
this. We got this. All right.
All right. Rules of engagement, ladies and gentlemen. You don't need.
We're gonna take you down. No,
You don't need that.
that's not the show. We're
Exactly.
doing. Okay, this is a love show.
That's it.
Absolutely.
You know, this is a show where we're showing a lot of love, and I'm back here. And don't mind me if you see me looking here. We're multitasking because that's
Of
what we
course.
do as wives, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, we pretty much know who everybody is, but still, just for the record, just a brief introduction, starting from the left, swinging to the right. So, obviously...
Me?
Yeah,
right.
first-time viewers, things of that nature, you can always...
Yeah, absolutely. Listen. Hello, everyone. My name is Terrence Sams. This is my beautiful, beautiful, lovely wife, Jack Sams.
Hey,
Jack Sams. Been married for 11 years. It'll be 12 years in November.
Wow.
That's
Yes,
that's
There you
yes.
go. There you go.
Love
Love snaps, love
That's a
snaps.
long time. Oh, we got together in 05, so that's even longer.
Wow.
I graduated high school.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh my goodness! Now you telling our age over here.
I
You
wasn't
know,
sure.
we trying to camouflage the age.
Of course, of course.
Yeah. So go ahead, finish. I ain't
No. So I've been married to this beautiful, beautiful lady for 11 years, and we have two beautiful daughters and a son who's like a grown man now.
He is grown.
He is a grown.
He's 22.
Wow!
He'll be 22 this year.
Wow! Stop it! Stop it!
Mm-hmm.
Stop it! Anyway, we're happy to be here, man. This is our love week, and I'm just so in love, man.
I'm in love too.
Oh.
I love this lady.
Us never
All right. Next up on that.
All right, wait, quit.
Jackie Sams, everybody. Jackie
I'm
Sams.
Jack Sams. I'm usually behind the cameras. And so I'm just really happy to be here. I'm very excited that you guys invited me into your platform so I can sit here and be silly like I am usually behind it. I'm like doing all kinds of signs like, hey. But I'm excited to be here and very happy to be talking about love because I love love. And love marriage and faith and all that good stuff. So
Excellent. What, me?
I thought it was you.
No, absolutely. We're introducing a guest now. There you go.
I'm the host.
Hey, you can still talk on your love.
Yeah, right. You guys know me. I'm Tae, and I am in love with this beautiful, ravishing, punctual, awesome young lady, Dana Watson Fleming. Yes, the love of my life, who just she put a spell on me, and it's not broken yet. She's definitely the love of my life, someone who I cherish. I'm always talking about her, whether I know it or not. But somehow her name comes up in every conversation. 17th will be our 1 year anniversary.
All right, they survived.
Snap.
Yeah, we made it.
Not yet. It's not the 17th. It's not the 17th yet.
Oh, we on live too.
Ouch.
That's on there forever.
Ouch.
That's on there
No, that's
forever.
okay, because that's the first time you did that to me. You did the
I
dab.
did.
So
Okay.
that's
She
all
did that.
Okay.
That don't help. That was on live.
That's how you do that to me all the time.
Yeah, but we on.
Okay, go ahead.
It's your turn. We ain't do a patty cake.
We can't top that.
We can't top it.
I'm Dana Watson Fleming. I am Tayron's wife, and like he said, we will have been married 1 year on Sunday. So very exciting. We have 3 daughters, and we had a cat, but we had to give our cat away. So I know, don't get depressed. It's okay. We miss Blue. So I'm very happy to be here. I was asked a long time ago to be here, so I had put it on my calendar. So here I am.
Absolutely.
To answer all the tough questions.
Yes, of course.
With grace.
Yeah, and of course, I'm the usually silent host, co-host, I should say, Aaron Bruce, and like I said, my girlfriend, Shalisa Branch, my love of my life, who I've met about 6 months ago. I ironically had a devotional hosted by Tehran.
Yeah.
So that on the 5 love languages,
That's
nonetheless. Yeah, she is my counter, but also my counterpart. You know, she's the glue that holds us together. She's happiness in dark times. She's love in adversity. And
Okay.
what?
She should be here to hear
She
this.
should be
Is
here.
she watching?
Well, it's
I
live.
hope you're watching.
She gonna send
She'll see it. She'll see it. She will absolutely see it. But I tell her every day that, you know, she's a blessing. You know, the blessing in my life that I am always smiling ear to ear about. So, now that we kind of got into the introductions, and I already started a little bit with how I met my significant others, the first question I would like to pose is, how did you 2 lovebirds meet?
Oh.
Now, they say age before beauty, so...
Okay.
I'm gonna let you tell your
old
story.
guy.
No, I'm gonna let you tell your story. Tell your story.
Well, he was chasing me for a long
Don't
time.
tell that story.
Here we go.
Not that stuff.
There's history
He's
in
been
her
chasing me
story.
for a long time, you
Yeah.
know. So we met in our 20s, a brief hello. Hello.
There you go.
Actually, my college friend, best friend, Sean, I was hanging with her for a long time. We were roommates and hanging in New York, living our best life, living our life like it was golden. Then this gentleman came to visit.
Yes.
And then he asked about me. He said he asked about music because we were both pursuing music careers at the time. And he asked about me, and I came to Maryland and basically never left.
It was a trap. It was a trap.
That's
he
the truth.
proposed within a couple of months.
It was less than a year.
Less than
It
a
was
year.
less than a year. Yeah,
And,
which was like
Mind blowing, right?
for me it was because I have went through life and I've never proposed to anyone. But when I it's like
he
when
says that a lot. Just to
No, because for me that's huge, right? That's huge.
Because why was that so huge?
Well, because I never, I guess, found a woman who fit into the dream that I had. You know what I'm saying? Like when I knew the type of woman that I needed for me, and so when I was the R&B guy, so I was doing my singing and my dancing, and I was meeting a lot of people, but I'm just singing and dancing. So what happened is when I went to my sister's house and met her, I was asking about her. She's right, I was asking about her. And I really wanted to do music, right? Because she has like this rocky sound. She's doing rock. And I wanted to kind of combine rock and R&B, right? I want rock and B, right? Right. So, but when I saw her and she came out of the house, from that moment on, I was like, yo, that's it. That's it.
Nice.
And so when we spoke, we hung out that night, and I was like, yo, you have to come down to Maryland and visit. And she was like, I don't really know. And I'm like, no, come on, trust me, I got you, right? And so I convinced her. It took a few days, but I convinced her. She hopped on the bus.
I had a car.
She had a car, right?
I just didn't want to drive from New York to Maryland.
Right.
And so yeah, he paid for my bus ticket.
I did. See, listen, no, but
plane, bro.
Listen.
He paid for it.
What about the train? Now I'm thinking about it.
Hey, that Amtrak though.
The Amtrak. That would have been a little better.
But I was military, right?
I got you.
And I didn't have much. I really
didn't. He had a hoopty.
I did have a hoopty.
He still got a hoopty.
I still got a hoopty. I keep the hoopty.
It's a nice hoopty.
He still holds on to his hoopty. I think that's that Florida thing.
Gotta be.
I'm sorry. We
Okay.
Yes.
But no, so I met her, asked her to come down. She came down that weekend, which was the weekend after the 4th of July in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on?
Right?
Wait till we
Here we go.
Okay,
Here we go.
look. She came down that weekend and she never left. Kid you not. She never left.
That was 2005.
Wow.
Man. All right.
Lovely.
That's how
That is
we
great.
met.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
He was chasing me.
I was.
All right.
Hey, as long as you two can both admit it. All right. Now the beauty side.
Oh, okay. Well, she was chasing me. in my mind.
Oh, okay.
No,
Turn to Peter's story.
Yeah. Let's all turn and hear this story.
I mean, it made it kind of hard. He you know, I wasn't dancing and I wasn't singing.
Were you miming?
I was miming.
There it is.
I was doing one of these. I was miming. So we met actually online love.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, on the website. Match. Match.
We have
Yeah.
two friends that got married.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in it.
So now the third friends.
Yeah. So and we it was 4th of July.
We met. It was in June, but we went on our first date on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Word?
Yeah. So when I first met her, I was at a cookout and she called, and that was literally pretty much the first contact I had voice wise. And
Wait a minute, that's not right.
Yes, it was.
That's not how it happened.
Yes, it was.
Okay, let's hear her side. Let's hear her side.
I don't want to get beat up on
This is
live.
what happened. Let me tell you.
Let's hear her side.
This is what really happened.
Don't forget
We
that.
Yeah, I'm
both
also
were on
the referee
Match,
here. Let's hear
and
her
I saw
side.
his picture a couple times, and I was like, I don't know about pastor. He's probably not a real pastor. I kept passing him. At 6 o'clock in the morning, he sent me a message. Hey, beautiful. How are you? And he was like, I have this church service, but I want to talk to you. We have been sending messages back and forth. He said, can I call you? And he called me in between church services, Asbury Jessup. Asbury Jessup.
Wow.
United Methodist Church. Jessup, Maryland. And then he called me. That's what happened.
Okay.
He called
So
me.
that second service, he had a huge smile on his face.
Yeah.
Can you call me?
I'm going to reactivate the
No,
magic
don't do
calendar.
that.
Okay.
But we did talk, and okay, go ahead and let you finish.
All right.
You sure?
She gave you the green light.
So,
Please.
you were talking and you said you wanted ice cream. And I'm not familiar with this area. I'm more so Jessup and Baltimore.
Yes.
She's closer to the DC, PG County, all that out there. So I drove in my car. What time was it?
It was late.
It was late. I drove and got ice cream
Okay.
and brought her some nasty vegan ice cream.
That's vegan.
And she didn't let me get none, but I ain't want none because it was vegan. It's all good. And we sat on her steps for a good 3 hours.
Wow.
Just
Because he
talking.
couldn't come in because, he couldn't come in.
Oh,
He
yeah.
couldn't come in.
All
He
right.
sat on the stoop.
We stopped. Yeah, and after that, we were just. It was hooked. We just.
My
kept
mom
talking.
said, make sure he's a real pastor.
Okay. Hey.
You saw me preach.
I did.
There you
And,
go.
what the 3 weeks later, you saw me preach at actually the pastor who married us.
St. Mark's.
Yep, St. Mark's.
Pastor Watson.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
So, and that's how we met.
All right.
Nice.
That is
Did I
excellent.
do anything wrong?
No, we got
You want
engaged really
change?
quickly after.
Oh, that's right.
It
That's
was
right.
less than a year.
It was
Okay.
5 months. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on live.
Listen, when you know, you know.
But
That's it.
let me
That's
ask
for
you,
real.
do you think that has something to do with being a person of faith? That technically we're not supposed to have relations. I'm saying quote, but you're not pastors, I'm sorry. Like,
I'm following you.
Following
so I'm wondering, does it speed up the process? Because you proposed early. You proposed
No.
pretty early.
Yeah.
Does that push you into, like,
For me, it
marriage?
was I just had a whole bunch of the wrong thing, and when I found what was right, it was just right. I just knew it.
Okay.
That was like one of our first conversations, though. It was like when we both wanted.
So
from day one.
From the first time I met, she told me what it was.
Lay down the rules.
And even I want to say,
No, in a sense,
no,
that's
it
what
really
it
was.
is.
So
You need
so like even when we first met, like she was like, "Are you comfortable with kids?" Because I have kids, and that's non-negotiable. That was plain.
No, that's right. Of course.
So I had to, it was either yes or no at that point. I have goals. Are you willing to be a part of those goals? And, I mean, we matched up on so many things. So even in our relationship where we have disagreements, we still have those dreams and hopes that coincide with one another, that strengthen, that catapults us towards that. So
that's actually important. And you actually asked some great questions that, I really, when I talk to women, I'm like, yo, you have to ask about his goals, where he's going, what's his plans, how does he plan to get there? What vehicle does he actually consider using to get to his goals? His
literally
dream?
and figuratively.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, right, absolutely. We for me, sweetheart, it was I really believe that when you know who you are, then the person who's for you sticks out like a sore thumb.
Wow.
Right. And I was going through the transition, not knowing that I wanted to get married or whatever. I just wanted to know more about me, So I went through. I just started really spending a lot of time with God, and just really finding out, being a little more in tune with me and what I needed, And so when I met you, I didn't really know that. Okay, this is the one. Like, I'm gonna marry her until about a couple months into it, and I was like, I'm not letting her go. Oh, it was when when
I broke up with you.
Yeah.
When I tell him we could just be friends, I was trying to friend zone him.
Come on, she tried to put me in the friend zone.
I tried to friend zone him. He had a real colorful thing going on, so I was like, this is what's his before pastoring?
Right. Yeah, but see you.
So he had a colorful life. He wrote a book. Make sure you go get it.
The second plug for it.
What got me is when you said, okay, I'm not trying to change who you are, but how you live and how you move, it may work for you, but it doesn't work for me.
No.
And so since that's not work for me, I'm going to go ahead.
You're perfect. You're perfect the way you were.
Right.
I'm trying to change you.
Right.
It just don't work for a kid.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But while we're talking on the subject of that interpersonal relationship, just one more fluffer question. Mm-hmm. Exactly, what is the best quality of your significant other?
Mm-hmm.
Your willingness to work.
Oh, I like that.
Mm.
You have his pursuit of and his relationship with God. The first weekend that I came, so he tried to get me up here all week, and I wouldn't come because I was celibate. And I said, I'm not coming to Maryland because and staying in your crib because I'm celibate. Well, the brother took me to church on that Sunday. I said, I'm in church with a man. But his pursuit for God was always very evident, and God was the most important thing in my life. And to meet somebody with those same with the same goals and the same, working towards the same things, your willingness to work on you, your willingness to work on the relationship with us, your willingness to work on your relationship with God was really incredible. So it was, your work ethic across the board was like dope.
Wow. I honestly can't give. It would be difficult for me to give one thing because there's so many aspects of you that I just admire, and the
Hey, don't be feeding him answers. You gotta be authentic now.
He's reeling me in.
All right. Let's be authentic here. No feeding.
No. But it's, man, it really is a lot. But what I truly admire about you is your heart. Like you're so open, and you're trusting without being so trusting, you know, and you have like a sense of discernment that honestly that was so attractive to me because you knew. You know what I'm saying? You knew yourself. You knew what you wanted. And you knew where you were going, and you wasn't willing to settle or accept anything less. And now, and that has been who you are and who you've always been, and that automatically makes me step up. You see what I'm saying? Like who you are automatically makes me want to be a better person.
Wow.
All right.
That's powerful.
That's cool.
That's really powerful.
That's absolutely.
You can't keep asking them the questions first. I don't know.
Next question.
This ain't working.
We had a long time.
I just said
we gonna get home, so I ain't got this time.
Listen, you can have the same, for the record, you can have the same answers, but the reasons may be different. Right? You don't live the same life.
That's not what he was gonna say.
He's looking for a cop out for not saying this. He's looking for that excuse.
Okay.
All right, but I promise the next question we'll start with you. You know, I'm trying to be a generous host. You know, so by all means.
Okay, I've got it.
All right.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Now Tae is really he's a very good man. He is a very caring man. He is a very giving man. And that I have seen him just from even the amount of time that he was giving when I first met him to Asbury Jessup, all of the different hats that he wore. He would stay out late. He would get up early to go see people at the hospital. He would, stay to listen to somebody's testimony or their struggle and give them feedback. Even the way he was accepting of me and my children. He is just a good person. Like it's hard to, I think, come across somebody who's just genuinely good, helping. Even times when I'm like, I don't know why you being so nice to these people. I would tell you. He'll tell me like I'm mean. I'm not mean. I'm just, but he really is genuinely a very good and caring person. If you need help, he is there. You're a good man. It's a good man. It's hard to be a good man and a king. That's from
Wow.
Black Panther.
Wakanda forever.
Which actually came out right at their wedding. Actually.
Wow.
Yeah, we went to see that the day before, like on
Your bachelorette thing, right?
Yeah,
It was to see Black
And
Panther.
then we saw it on the honeymoon.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, the floor is yours. Last but certainly not least.
Hey, no. Honestly, I would say the biggest thing is her strength. She is the strongest person I know. Even knowing her backstory, a lot of times people go through things and they're worse off for it. She's better off for it. If like I always have a theory, you take L's in life, they're either lessons or losses. I've never seen her take a loss because anytime she has something that happens, she takes that as a lesson, learns from it, and she's always better. There's nothing I've ever seen her do wrong. No, she is. She is so strong. I mean, so strong, and to the point where as a man, leader of the household, right? But even when I was down on myself at one point, when I had a season of depression, right? I was the faith leader of the household. But when I was down, her being around me, she learned from me how to be faithful, and she was the one praying for us to get through a difficult situation, and the strongest woman I know.
Oh man. There you go.
Beat that one. No.
Oh my goodness.
Good.
No, that's beautiful.
Exactly.
I mean, that raw emotion is so needed. Authenticity of your love is really, it's a beautiful thing.
Because if love isn't authentic, people, what are we doing it for?
Yeah.
Right.
Because, as great as love is, it also comes with its pains, its stresses, its challenges. So if it isn't authentic, I'm telling you, what are we doing it for?
Right.
God knew.
So absolutely. So even though we kind of touched on this question a little bit earlier, Jack brought it up. How does your faith affect your relationship? We're all like God-loving, God-fearing people, but I feel like a Christian relationship is inherently different from like just somebody who's just in a relationship for the sake of a relationship. Not to say better or worse, but certainly inherently different. It has its own challenges, it has its own pivot points, it has its own strength and support. So I am curious to hear from you guys first. Yeah. You know, exactly.
Question.
You can't pick and choose. All right? I don't know what questions you want to go in on, and just so, but certainly, absolutely, I'm curious to hear your response to that.
And maybe I have a biased view, but I believe for Christians, if you really profess your faith and take it serious, marriage is not just something you do. It's not just a celebration. It's not just putting a ring on it. Marriage is a contract, not just my name is not just a cosign for a car. I mean, it is a contract between you two and God. Like, you know, I think Brother Tony said it the best. He was like, if you want to get divorced, I'm not gonna make it easy for you. You know, I couldn't imagine not being able to work it out. You know, I think God demands a commitment. He demands a commitment to us. From us to Him, He demands a commitment as men or as women to our significant others. And I think my faith really empowered me to even when I get on her nerves and she wants to, you know what I mean, whatever. It's the faith that brings us back because. I can't remember, so it's a saying, but love is a choice. But when you're married, I mean, love is a fleeting emotion. But when you're married, love is a choice. So you know, when we married each other, we made that choice. So even when we do things that aren't lovable, we still have to have that love for one another. Right. And that's hard to do, but you know, our faith allows us to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. If you allow me to jump in real quick,
Yeah,
I feel
definitely.
just real quick. You know, I feel like, especially in my relationship to my girlfriend. To kind of borrow from you, I feel like because it's a Christian-based relationship, there can't be a quit. You know, there can't be any kind of surrender or quit in it. If you don't have the answer within yourself, I feel like you got to take it to the Lord. You got to take it to a pastor. You got to take it to somebody. You know, it's not like I said. You know, if it isn't authentic, what are you in it for? So I feel like when your back is against the wall, you know, the Christian mentality is, you know, you just take it to a higher power and keep working through it because it's through the struggle that makes it beautiful. Because if it was easy, then it's not worth it. This isn't. Oh, thank you, Nicole Cameron. I'm glad we're inspiring somebody. Hey, how everybody doing? All right. Yes, but you know, certainly, if it was easy, then it is not worth it. You know, why do we look up to people with six-pack abs? Because it took time and dedication to make it. So I feel like if you use the word of the Lord and the inspiring word of God and use that motivation to keep pushing forward, it actually comes out to be something worthwhile. You know, yeah. Be like, hey. I'm proud of it. It took time to make that. So certainly, you know, that's my own 2 cents on it.
Well, I think that when you have something greater than yourself to be held accountable, like most of the time, if you're going through life and you're not accountable to something or someone higher than you or your neighbor. It's a different kind of level, but when you know that there's something greater and something bigger out there, which is for us God as Christians, there's a reverence and a respect that you hold. It's an excellence that it's a standard that you know your bar is raised that you hold to. What about you? I mean, also, I know you probably forgot the question, didn't you?
What's the question?
The question is, how does your Christian faith affect your relationship?
And so, when in the hard times, we had something to pray to.
Nicole said, I need Jack and Terrence to get the wedding officiants for my wedding, or they can sing, but I want y'all there.
Okay. We got you.
Hey, Mr. R&B, you know, we need to see.
You say R&B?
Yeah. I'll take I'll record it. He'll officiate. Then we'll do a duet.
Yeah, just the two of us.
No, sing. What is it? Spend my life with you.
Spend my life.
She sounds good. She sounds really good. Certainly.
What we sing?
We're not singing.
You know, Jake.
No, because you're not Jack. The king of R&B.
Okay, so Terrence,
hands praised. All right, thank you, Nicole.
How does our faith help our relationship? Is that what the question was?
Oh no, effects. But help is a form of affection.
Help.
It is.
Okay,
Help is
Aaron.
a form of affection.
Well, our faith, I think, mends us together and keeps us together. It talks about the 3 strands, right? You and I, then God being that 3rd strand, really keeping us solidified and tight. So whenever we have a problem or we're going through something, we know where to go.
Yeah.
We know who to turn to, who to call on. We know where our help is and where our strength is.
Yeah.
So there's no way, hands down, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God.
No, that's true.
Period.
That's very true.
So.
That's what I was trying to say earlier when I kept on saying the words couldn't come out. You said it. See, you start talking for each other.
Yeah. And the 2 shall become one.
The 2 shall
Right.
become one.
So there we have it. There we have it. Yeah.
Oh, what do I think? Oh yes, faith. There have been some moments where I've been like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how this is gonna work. Somebody help me, please, help me, please. And that is the faith portion. I think that our marriage has made me become more faithful, if that makes sense. It has pushed me to do some things that I really didn't think were within me to do, or things that I wasn't necessarily comfortable doing. Like, there was a time where I really had to start praying for him, and I just had to, I don't know, like, I'm not the, the prayer warriors. I'm not the prayer warrior. I'm like the quiet person in the back. Like, that's for yes. But that was the faith. I was like, God, I don't know what I'm going to say, but I got to say something to support him, to help inspire him. And it just came, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that I could do that. I think if you talked about the strands, so if there have been moments where we both feel like you're going to go left and I'm going to go right, and the strand is like, no, we're just going to wrap a little bit tighter. Y'all just going to come back together. We need to just come back together and try to work it out, try to figure things out.
Absolutely.
So it has made me become more faithful.
All right. Absolutely.
I love it.
Now, we dropped a little bit of scripture, like, the 2 shall become one and the strands. So what is your favorite scripture in concerning your relationship? Like, if you had to choose one scripture. hey, it's your turn now.
That room is under... No, I'm just...
You're too much.
Yeah.
You can't put me in front of the camera. Y'all need to keep me behind the camera.
Okay.
Because I think I got jokes all the time. I'm falling. No,
this is part of the
well, the one I like.
No, Corinthians 13. Now that's
No.
Everybody has that.
No. God, one is in John where it's talk about love covers a multitude of things.
Is it 1 Peter?
Is it? I thought it was 1 John. Love is in there.
Those of you who know scripture, like, can pull it out the hat. Send it to us. What is God? Say what it is, Terrence. Let's see.
Amen.
I'm
reading that.
Okay.
But no, love covers a multitude of things. God,
love
Jesus,
above all things.
Jesus commands us to love.
Yes.
Right. And if it, like, we're not perfect. Right? So since we're not perfect, we will miss the mark, which is what sin is, missing the mark, right? And so if I can love her through those times where she missed the mark, and she can love me through the times where I missed the mark, and we look to God, there's nothing we can't do.
Yeah.
1 Peter.
Is
it 1 Peter?
Oh, go ahead. You gonna?
What we need?
It's me.
It's
I'm
you.
quick with it.
You quick with it.
I ain't gonna find it real quick.
It was in there though, right?
It was in
In the
there.
book. That's all that matters.
You know the words,
Right,
but where to go? Take
But I know it's in there.
All right. There you go. You can feel it. You can feel it out. There you go. Your turn.
1 Peter.
She ain't go yet.
What?
I said it. I just didn't finish it.
No.
Yes.
All right. It's right here. Actually, it's on my phone.
Okay.
But no, it's
You got a
Proverbs
cheat sheet.
31.
No, I'm sorry.
Proverbs 31.
Why are you gonna scroll? Now it's gone.
I'm sorry.
Proverbs 31.
It's not 31.
A righteous
so
woman.
Oh.
Yeah, a righteous woman. It is. I know it. No, don't. Yes,
No. He knew where it was.
I know where it is. Her husband can trust her, and she will greatly enrich his life. She brings him good, no harm. All of her life.
All of her life.
No harm.
Wow. Okay.
But it doesn't say anything about correction. It does say discipline child, so sometimes you gotta discipline.
I ain't a child.
Oh,
They don't say.
So don't act like one. Don't act like one. Then don't act like one.
What's mine? Oh, it's me. Songs of Solomon, for I have found the one whom my soul loves.
wow.
Because we took,
wow.
we were
That's
working with our
beautiful.
premarital counseling with Pastor Watson, and we had to take like this 300 question survey. It took a really long time, and at the end, he analyzed it and all this, and he said, "You guys disagreed about a whole lot of stuff." He was like, "But the one thing that was very consistent was that you guys were willing to put in the work to make your marriage last."
Okay.
So I think that really speaks to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
That's great. Now, part of the reason why I didn't want you guys to use Corinthians 13, love is patient, love is kind, love rejoices with the truth, it doesn't pertain to its own ways, is I always thought it was interesting that the very act of love is a God thing, because it also says in the gospel that God is love. So one of my favorite challenges to people is go back into Corinthians 13:1 and all the rest of it, the love chapter, and replace the word love with God. And then you get God is patient, God is kind, God does not insist on his own way, God rejoices with the truth. And you and then I say, well, replace it again with your own name and see how you're doing. Are you patient? Are you kind? Are you rejoicing with the truth?
Never thought about
that. So
Dr.
certainly.
Aaron Love.
So literally the act of love is a God thing. When you are loving, you are trying to portray like God in human form. We are made in his image and we are called to love. That's why Jesus said, love your neighbors as yourself, love your enemies. And that includes being patient with them, being kind with them, not persisting in your own way, rejoicing in the truth. So that's my own little takeaway.
That's really good.
Exactly. I'm not a pastor, but by all means, I can pick up on a few things. So,
Really good.
absolutely. So, how do you...
But before you go,
Yes.
everyone, make sure you share. Tag your friends.
Yes. By all
Well,
means.
let's take a moment to make sure that everybody share. If
Share,
there's
share.
any questions that you guys have, if there's any scriptures that you want to share with us.
Amen indeed. Thank you.
We want in the act of love, sharing. I said this earlier in the week. Sharing is caring.
There you go. Sharing is caring.
And that's the ultimate love. So make sure you share this broadcast so that
Yes.
we can spread love.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sharing is caring. I like that.
What else we got, my good man?
All right.
So,
yeah.
We kind of touched on this a
Go
little bit as well, but these conversations always kind of blend in together. But how do you handle adversity using your faith? I mean, obviously, we kind of heard a little bit of that, and we touched a little bit of that, but just to flesh it out a little bit better.
I would answer that. There's actually there might be a question on there, but like as far as resources to use, my strong, beautiful wife bought 2 books, kind of 4 books, called The Praying Husband and the Praying Wife, and only she reads the Praying Wife, and I read the Praying Husband. It's been times she won't even talk to me, and I bring out my book, The Praying Husband, and start praying. There's a big book and there's a little book.
There's a pocket prayer book.
There's a pocket prayer book, and I go right to mood. And, and I pray that prayer, and I swear,
I never knew that chapter was
God
in
be
there.
working on your heart.
Yeah, the book
within an hour,
it really is an amazing book.
Yeah.
Really? It's called The
Yes,
Praying
it's called-
Husband and
and
the
the
Praying
Praying
Wife.
So the one is the power of the praying husband, the power of the praying wife, and the power of the praying parent. So you can pray for your kids. It's a series.
It's a series,
And the power of the praying wife book. The first thing the author writes is this lady, and she was like, "Okay, I'm going to tell you what you got to do. You're going to pray that God changes you." You're like, no. I need you to work on him. But she takes us, through looking at yourself and how your own actions have effects on your significant other. I don't know if your book starts like that.
Our book starts with the oneness.
Okay. So probably something similar to that. But he won't let me read his book. He doesn't read my book. But it does give me a lot of great prayers. Finances, his heart, his health. It really takes you through the gamut, especially if you're not like I was not a prayer. So it gives me a little jump start.
It's really dope. Yeah. For the husband, it starts off about, we partake in the oneness of God through our marriage. So like, when we first date, we're into the introduction of oneness. When we get engaged, it's the promise of oneness. When we get married, it's the affirmation. It's the actual being part of that oneness. And how as the husband, as head of household, we ought to maintain that oneness and being in tune with God. So it puts the emphasis on you just manning up and being able to say or being able to do or whatever it takes to make your marriage work. And then it tells you, it's actually the opposite of your book, because it tells me. Well, I ain't gonna tell you what it tells me. So how do you know?
How do you know?
Check that out, bro.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's great.
Let me put the link in there.
Okay. Oh,
You
absolutely.
put the link in.
All right, put in the link. Let people know.
Let them know.
So
All right.
through that verse, so we're talking about
Adversity.
Adversity.
Yeah.
In the Bible it says all things work together for the good, for those who love the Lord, right? And so, because we love the Lord, we use everything that when we're having good times, when we're having bad times, we use it all together to have us grow and get to maximize our love.
And also, one thing like I really believe in is having a mentor, having someone, a spiritual mentor, right? So I have a spiritual mentor that when he knows me, I can call him and he know exactly what questions to ask me, and I'm like, all right, this happened. Okay, that was my mood. That was my attitude, and he knows exactly how to lovingly correct me and show me exactly the direction to go. But we all need a mentor in our lives.
I agree.
We need someone, a spiritual mentor who can help guide us, even guide our relationships or our marriages and things like that. So get a mentor.
Yeah. And the mentor helps through adversity.
Yes, it helps through. I'm sorry. It helps through adversity. One, because you have someone that you respect and who can be unbiased and tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And tell you exactly what's going on.
Right.
And so
a mentor who's faith based, somebody who has,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's how if there's a point where
for the shout out, thank you.
If there's a point where there's something that we're having trouble, if I'm too mentally off course that we can't talk, or I'm not talking, or I'm just I'm in my feelings, I know who to call.
I got you.
But see that kind of takes. I think that takes. You have to be willing to do the work, because they won't always tell you what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. You have to be willing to step out there and say, okay, look, here's what's going on. Talk to me.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to be corrected, and corrections doesn't always feel good.
And there's that authenticity again.
There you go. And then praying. Prayer really does change things in adversity. And so, when those little girls that be like, pray about it. I'm definitely one, and I'm not the best. I always say to my sister, she's a prayer warrior. Mm-hmm. I'm not the best technical prayer, but my prayer is heartfelt.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so I pray about everything. I mean, pray walking through doors, pray.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Pray over everything. And it's just, I think that helps through adversity, through any adversity, but definitely through our relationship.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. So to touch on, again, what you were mentioning, is there any couples that you kind of look up to? In terms of relationships, do any maybe your parents or your grandparents or
we weren't. We didn't see the best role models of we had role models. Our parents were role models, but not togetherness. So they weren't.
Yeah. My parents weren't together.
Married, and so
right.
And so we didn't have that to look for. But I did have like my uncle and his wife. We have Michelle Obama.
Dave Self said, "We need to remember that any adversity is only for a little while. When we keep eternity in mind, this is something waiting for us on the other side." I could not say better
That's
myself.
right, Dave. You're right, Dave. Yeah,
Ecclesiastes 11.
And Anthony chimed in, "A relationship is a mountain with many valleys, and you have to admire the view from the mountaintop, because when in the valley, you have to be aware that the view will be back."
Good. Go ahead,
Hoagie brother.
Here we go.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Our lovely co-host. Our lovely co-host, everybody. Our lovely co-host.
AB2.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we got a lot going on here.
Who are
Role models for your relationship.
The Watsons.
Yes, so Pastor Herbert Watson and Mrs. Watson, they did our premarital counseling. They married us. We still talk to them to this day.
He's still my
yes.
He's still my spiritual advisor every time.
Their life stories are very similar to ours. If she's from DC, he is from Baltimore. It like really mimics our story.
They both got short hair and they rock it beautifully.
Yeah,
Funny story. When I guess when you first saw me preach at their church, Miss Watson, First Lady Watson, she came to me and said, "Is that your girlfriend?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You don't ever preach no church and don't shout out your girl." In that moment, I don't care whenever I preach, it doesn't matter. She's always gets a shout out.
Even though I'm like, don't show me out.
Absolutely.
So, who else? My parents, Leroy and Terry Watson, have been married for 42 years.
Excellent.
They are a great example. Your
my grandparents who raised me, they've been married 40 plus years. But it's funny though, even though they've been married, their relationships are totally different. So when we came together, I had a whole vision of what it should be because what I saw, and then she had a vision of what it should be because what she was raised around, and somehow it just made a mix of. I think both played a part in making our own thing, but I think that was probably the biggest hurdle we had to get around. I was so used to a male dominant. Not to say that my grandmother was a workaholic, raised 7 kids, had a little fake corner store thing, just did a whole lot of things. You wouldn't know she didn't have a job. You wouldn't know that she was just a homemaker. Where Miss Watson, not First Lady Watson, but her
Miss Watson.
Yeah, my mother-in-law. She was a teacher.
She's a
guidance counselor. So you had 2 parent working at home where. I couldn't imagine anybody telling Miss Watson what to do. She's I think that's where you get your strength from.
Yes.
She's a very strong woman. Like, even just to talk to you on the humble, you just...
You're the only one that act like you're scared. But with my dad, my dad was kind of like a cool person, though. When he said it, my mom said, well, that was it. That's what he said. He said what he said.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Tony Duck... honesty and translucentness, I believe I said that right, can cause mates to be more vulnerable to each other and will help to develop a commitment for each other driven by respect, love, and acceptance.
What book you reading, bro?
Tony, come on. You can't just Google this. You can't just Google. I need sources.
Where you cite that from?
Exactly. I should ask Tony, what relationship books do you recommend?
Tony, what relationship? Tony, why aren't you supposed to be here?
5 love languages.
That's the
book. Absolutely.
Yeah, so
that's a good
absolutely. And I guess I'll answer the question myself. Yeah. My parents have been married for 35 years. They met freshman year in college. Wow. She came up from Maryland to Pittsburgh. Go Pitt. My dad, he was already living out there, and they. Ironically, how they met and worked together in college is exactly how they work together now. They met in chemistry lab. Wow. Yeah, my dad, he had the experiment. My mom, she had the notes. And now it's like my dad, it's like honey, I'll take care of the outside, you take care of the inside, we work together. You know?
Right.
So it's the way that their relationship is based off of complimenting each other. They complement each other's strengths, and they cover each other's weakness, more importantly. You know, there was never a day where I think I ever saw my parents kind of like at each other. They never, like, I've never ever seen them like get in an argument or a fight or anything. You would think, like, oh, well, that's because they don't just fight in front of the kid. Even at like 55 years old, they still don't argue. It's nothing but love, you know? It's just completely just sourced in, like, we compliment each other. And my mom always told me, you know, at the end of the day, kiss each other at night, kiss each other whenever you leave, kiss each other in the morning, you know, always say I love you, and remember, it's us against the world. So that's all you guys, us against the world, you know, regardless of whatever. And I asked her once, I was like, why don't I ever see you and Dad fight? And it's just like, well, because at the end of the day, all we got is each other now.
Right.
You know, we just got to hold on. You know, we may disagree now, but we are together in the long run. So that's yeah.
And did you grow up in a faith-based household?
I did.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
awesome.
So it was always, you know, you got to pray, you got to always turn to God. And I always joke with my mom, too, if I'm allowed to go down a rabbit hole real quick, that God hears her prayers better than mine. It's like, oh, Aaron's calling, oh, take a number. Oh, Sharitha. So I'm still working up street cred with the man upstairs, but certainly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Tony said those are his words.
Yeah.
Tony.
Okay.
All right, write a book. Write a book, then
That's
cite it.
exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, write a book.
It's time for that book, Tony.
Absolutely. Write a book and please cite it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, next question. What are some of the, I think it's your turn, what are some of the hardships of a Christian relationship? Or at least in your relationship?
Just
Go ahead.
Completely opposite.
So I'll say,
what's worse?
for me, having pastoral positions and being fully in ministry, it takes a toll on your family. For me, it took a toll that I didn't see because I was just in it. She mentioned it, like being out late nights, not really, can't really have a set schedule because it's hard to have a set schedule in ministry. Saying you're going to be somewhere and then something comes up and you putting that priority over your family, which in hindsight probably should have did. But just living in that atmosphere, living in that moment, it took a toll. When you wake up and your kids are asleep, and you come home and your kids are asleep, and you realize you haven't seen your wife for 12 hours essentially, and when you get home she's asleep.
Or not asleep, or waiting.
With a shotgun, maybe?
Not the shotgun.
So, you know, that takes a toll. Figuring out the balance between a healthy family versus a healthy ministry and juggling the two is hard. Something I still work on to this day, making sure those areas of my life have equal but important parts in my life. Just separating that time. And living the persona of we're a Christian relationship, so we don't fight, we don't argue, we don't disagree. Because we're Christian, we can't have the same struggles as everybody else, and that's so not the case. So, what do you say?
I think one of the first things he said, so, you know, I'm trying to be this pastor, so you ready to be a first lady? And I was like, no. No, I'm not. But you know, even my friends would say, oh, we got to go get you this first lady hat. We got to, you know. I was like, guys, I don't know if I'm really ready for all that. But understanding the role of what's, I guess, supporting him in his ministry and what that looks like for me. And I said, please don't try. Like, obviously, I'm not like the fake sale person. Like, that's not even.
But you can bake. Them snitcher dudes.
I can bake. So maybe next year. But what I'm saying is that I have found that, one, I have to be supportive that that is part of like what drives him, is knowing sometimes that I'm there, or even if he doesn't see me, like I may be in the back pew, but he wants the feedback on how do you think I did, what do you think about what I said, balancing the time, I guess, like making sure that the kids are going and getting the exposure, that I'm there. There's a lot of balance is the key word, I would say. That has been, I think, the biggest struggle. And then we are actually different denominations. So I'm Episcopal and he is Methodist, but it was one time were you what is the word? Starts with an E? No. I don't know how to describe it. Like, they're very lively. Evangelical.
Okay.
Is that it?
I was Pentecostal.
Oh, Pentecostal, but I'm very quiet, and I went to Catholic school for 12 years. So, you know, like a 2-hour service is a long time, you know, 45 minutes in and out. Right. And so then he was like, you know, catch this Holy Ghost. And I was like, babe, I don't really know. I don't think I know what that looks like. Okay. So just making adjustments and being open to new and different things. But it's really been a great and crazy ride, which has been some difficulties, but I think it's made me a better Christian.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. All right. Back to my previous comment. Tony added, my parents fought like cats and dogs, but they raised to understand that flaws would be part of life and your relationship, and they showed us commitment. Now, as a jab at you, he says, Terrence wrote the recipe, the book, that's Terrence's book, but I wrote the cookbook. Ha, 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 ha.
Okay.
Don't read no more of his comments.
He's a co-host. He plays a necessary. He's a very necessary part of this relationship.
He's a very necessary.
So
we got to make sure we get that show going.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Very cool.
Absolutely. So, your turn.
Read the question one more time.
What are some of the hardships of being in a Christian relationship?
You know what? You guys touched on it. Like, really touched on it. Like, the balance. Because for a while, I would say that my wife and I was like doing two different things. You know, like she had her business she was trying to run. I was trying to build my business, and you know, we love the Lord and everything. But it really took. No. Follow me. I'm going somewhere with this. Like we love the Lord, but it took something. It took God to bring us and say, work together.
Wow.
And working together, I can clearly see that we're more powerful together than we are doing our own thing. So when like what we're doing now, the Amplify Network is a God-sized dream that both of us like are passionate about. You know what I'm saying? And I can clearly see how, man, God's amazing, man. Mm-hmm. God is amazing.
And, go ahead.
No, go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
No, I was going. So the question was, how does being a Christian how is it tough? You know, what is it?
Well, that's the question, man.
And so,
okay.
You see how we were in school, huh? We got to repeat the question for us. We just all over the place.
Yeah,
it's fine. We the same way.
So no, I was.
Go. I'm listening.
No, I would say is that, you know, when you want to do the wrong thing, and you naturally when you're fighting or fussing, you want to do the wrong thing, but you're being held to this godly thing, and you say, no, I got to do the right thing. So I really want to scream at him, but I should go pray.
So you're held to you recognize that you're
message
that you're held to a higher standard.
A higher standard.
There you go.
That's my overall theme here.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think that's what it is.
Holy Ghost on that.
Yeah, I think that's the overall theme, that, you know, it's choosing the right thing over the wrong thing. And sometimes you just it's just like driving in the car and somebody cuts in front of you. You don't want to pray at that time.
No.
Right.
You want to say,
you want to tell them
give them the business, if you will.
Give them the business.
Give them the business.
Yeah, you know. I mean,
absolutely.
Road rage just takes over.
I don't step out in the street in New York.
And so,
one time instead walk, almost got hit.
Yes. So, but that happens in relationships, and like you said, being, you know, because you're a person, a Christian couple doesn't, you know, it doesn't shield you from having adversity.
Right.
And so, you know, when I want to scream, and I have to be like, you know what, you know, or when I want to be, I just want to have my point and I want to be right, and then I have to come back later and say, you know what,
you have that conviction.
I have the conviction in my heart that said that wasn't right. I really shouldn't have said that. I really went in for the jugular, and that's not cool. Let me come back and make it right. You know.
Okay.
We keep tapping each other every time you guys say something.
See?
Yeah.
Okay. Like this.
All right. Well, we're starting to run short on time.
Yeah.
So
we're at time.
Oh.
Yeah, we are at time.
I guess that's it.
That's it. I'm sorry, guys. Look, you're gonna have to look. I'm gonna put the
Okay.
sign up here.
Oh yes, absolutely. Church Mind and Matter. Please like and share. Tell your friends. Go to Amplify Network. Look up Church Mind and Matter.
GoFundMe.
Go. We have a GoFundMe page. If you love what you see, please go out see this ministry. Let's not get into prosperity gospel. See this ministry.
Twitter.
And also we have Twitter, and you are also a co-host, so you may want to finish up.
All right, so look, we have Twitter, Church Mind and Matter. That we logged in every episode, so kind of more so real time than just a Facebook Live. Even though we love hearing what you guys have to say. GoFundMe, if you want to see this ministry, we do have a GoFundMe account. All you have to do is go to GoFundMe.com and then type in Church Mind and Matter. You'll see a picture of me and AB right here. We love you guys. We happy that you could be a part of this ministry.
Yes.
Any feedback, anything you want to know. Also, if you want to watch this after this, you can just go on YouTube, type in Amplify Network, or you can go to the website watchamplify.com and you can get to all the shows that we have.
All the
So
networks, yes.
Thursday sessions. Pastor Sam.
Yes.
What am I missing? Anything?
Yeah, we have the
good news.
midday vibe. It's
Midday
your
vibe.
the music show. Did you catch that?
I didn't.
Oh, see,
Oh, you got
Wow.
that's what's
Wow.
happening out there. You guys make sure you you see, you're not sharing enough. 'Cause, we gotta
Why
share.
don't you share?
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
share.
we gotta
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
Yes, we
Sharing
have our
is
Anthem
caring.
2. We have so many shows that are coming up. I'm excited about what's in the wheelhouse. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, so you guys, I'm not going to take over the show. This ain't my show.
Okay, absolutely. Well, everyone, it's been a pleasure having you here once again. Thank you to all of our lovely guests. Absolutely. We'll be back next week. Take care, everyone.
Take it easy. Yay.
Love each other now.
Love each other.
Love.
Please tell me you got that online.
Love.
Which one?
Oh.
Wait.
I think they did.